We now turn to members of the Ziyadna family, members, as I said, of the Bedouin communities of southern Israel. On November 30th, they celebrated the freeing of two of their family members, Aisha, 16 years old, and Bilal, 18 years old, from captivity in Gaza. But two other members of the same family, Hamza, 22, and Yousef, 53, are still being held hostage there. Among those with us today are Kamel al-Ziyadna, nephew of Yousef and cousin of Hamza, abducted from Kibbutz Cholit, and Noaf al-Ziyadna, brother of Yousef and uncle of Hamza. We also have with us Fouad al-Talalka, father of Samar al-Talalka, who is aged in his 20s and was also abducted from another kibbutz. And Shaaban al-Sayed, father of Hisham al-Sayed in his 30s, who was abducted in 2015, also by Hamas, is with us as well. We cannot imagine the ordeal that these private citizens have experienced, and we lack sufficient words to express our genuine sympathy, solidarity, and concern. We thank all of you, members of the Ziyadna family, and your friends also joining you from Israel, for embarking on this emotionally and also physically taxing journey, and we thank you for bravely sharing the story of your family members with us. Kamel Ziyadna, we now invite you to
Noaf Ziyadna. Shafik. Yeah, please come.
السلام عليكم مساء الخير عرف طوب لكلام خاك سماخ عيد مبروك.
Good evening everybody and Chag Sameach.
أنا نواف الزيادنة أخو يوسف الزيادنة.
My name is Noaf Ziyadni, the brother of Yousef al-Ziyadna.
حمزة ابن يوسف وبلال وعايشة أنا عمهم.
The uncle of Hamza, Bilal and Aisha, who were kidnapped with their father.
يوم 17 اليوم الأسود راحوا الشغل في كيبوتز خوليت.
On 7th of October, the dark day, they went to work at the Cholit kibbutz.
اشتغلوا في الريفد في مزرعة.
They work with the animals there.
17 سنة يوسف بيشتغل في كيبوتز خوليت.
Yousef worked at the kibbutz for 17 years.
يوسف على 7:15 خلص الاتصال معه. اجوا جماعة من حماس وأخذوه هو وولاده اثنين حمزة وبلال وبنت عايشة.
On Saturday, the last time they heard from Yousef and his family was at 7:15, and since then they know that they were kidnapped to Gaza by Hamas, and they didn't hear anything about them since then.
وقربوا بهم على غزة من نفس اليوم 17 اليوم الأسود ما بنعرف عنهم. في نفس اليوم ورونا صورة لبلال وصورة لحمزة، والمجتمع حكى إن بلال وحمزة معهم ويوسف والبنت عايشة اللي هي بنته مش موجودين.
They knew about the family have been abducted by pictures of them on social media and maybe a short video that said that they are abducted to Gaza. That's how they know about this.
ضمت العائلة كلها العشيرة حوالي 20,000 نفر، عشيرة الزيادنة، كلهم في حزن وكلهم في غلب وفي مكت وفي زعل وما بيعرفوا ايش في ولا جاهم أي معلومة.
Since then, the entire al-Ziyadna tribe that has almost 20,000 people belong to this huge tribe. Since then, the tribe in a very bad situation. Everybody is sad. Everybody is just talking and thinking about the abducted members.
وأصحابنا ما قصروا من جميع الجهات.
All our friends from
اللي يمشوا بيجوا علينا وبيسألونا إيش في ما معهم معلومات.
all our friends from the different parts of the Israeli society, they are with us. They tell us that they stand with us, but none of them come with the new information about the family.
لما صار لهم حوالي 52 53 يوم بدأوا يحكوا ودهم يطلبوا عايشة بنت صغيرة 16 سنة مع الصفقات اللي بيطلعن، وآولوا أخروها مع أخوها. لما صار 55 يوم أطلقوا سراح عايشة وبلال. على 55 يوم علينا.
After almost 50 days, the first time someone spoke with them about maybe releasing the teenagers. Aisha is 16 and Hamza is 17. It was after 50 days, and they were released eventually in the 7th release part. So it was after 55 days.
سألنا بلال قال أنا جيت من عند أبوي وما بعرف ولا حاجة، ما بدري ولا حاجة، جيت من عند أبوي أنا وأختي، وأبوي تعبان، أبوه مريض، عنده مرض سكر، عنده ضغط، عنده جلطة في الرأس قبل كم شهر كانت عندي مشكلة في واحدة من العيون سووا لها عملية، وأخوه بلال في عنده مشكلة في الرأس مارجرينا هي اللي بتصيب الرأس بتخلي الرأس يصير يلف. وعنده
Bilal told them that he was with his father before being released, but the father, Yousef, is very sick. He has diabetes. The brother, Hamza, he has severe migraines, and both of them are in a very bad situation back there without their medicine, without anything. So they have no idea what's their situation right now.
ويوسف عنده 19 ولد في البيت وهو اللي معيشهم، وهو عيان وبيشتغل، ولو إن ما عنده الأولاد أظله ما أشتغل وهو عيان. وحمزة عنده أولاد 2، وأنا بطلب وبترجع.
Yousef, as we said at the beginning, is 53. He has 19 kids, and he's the only provider for his family. His son, Hamza, he's 22. He was married 3 years ago. He has 2 kids. And actually, now the family lost their providers.
ويوسف راح على كيبوتس خوليت على جنب غزة بيشتغل عامل، له جيش ولا هو مساعد جيش ولا هو بيساعد أحد، بيساعد نفسه، بيشتغل في المستوطنة تبعت الكيبوتس مشان يعيش أولاده.
And Yousef is a civilian. He was not involved in anything, no military, no security, nothing. He's just a simple man who went to work on Friday night, and that's it. He was supposed to, I'm adding here something that didn't say, he was supposed to finish his shift at 8 o'clock in the morning, and all this happened at 7 o'clock.
أنا بطلب من كل الجهات اليهودية والعربية والفرنسوية واليهود اللي في فرنسا واليهود اللي في إسرائيل والعرب وقطر والمسؤولين اللي في حماس، من الكل، من المصريين، من الأردنيين، كل من بيقدر يساعد لو 1% يساعد في يوسف وولده حمزة يطلق سراحهم، لأنهم عيانين وتعبانين وبيقدروا يتأثروا وهم موجودين. المنطقة اللي هم فيها.
We are asking everyone, we are asking the state of Israel, we are asking the Jewish communities, we are asking the Jewish community here in France and the French authorities and Qatar and the Arabs here in France and the Arab community all around the world to pressure Hamas, to ask Hamas to release them because they are sick and we need them back home, their family needs them back home.
حكيت كثير وده أحكي كمان كلمة. النداء لكل من بيقدر يساعد يطلب سراح أخوي يوسف وولد أخوي حمزة لأنهم تعبانين وما لهم أي ذنب. واليهود بيقولوا كلمة خاف من بيشع بس عمال بيشتغلوا مشان يطعموا أولادهم خبز.
He said that he spoke a lot, but he wants to say the last thing is he's calling and he's calling and he's calling everybody, even those who have a slight opportunity to help the family and to help the community to release the children, to release their family members, to release his brother Yousef, because otherwise it's a risk for their lives. بدك تقول بعد شيء أوسع من هيك؟
يعني حكيت كثير. أشكر المجموعة كلها ونتمنى لهم إن شاء الله بروحوا بالسلامة سالمين وكل من يساهم ويساعد أنا بأشكره جدا والعائلة كلها بتشكره ويعني ساعدونا إن الوضع صعب جدا. احنا في حالة صعبة. خلونا ننصر وننبسط في ترويحة يوسف لا يتأثر يوسف وابن حمزة بس.
He wants to thank you all and he hopes that everybody will be released and of course the family member will come so the family will return to normality and the situation will go back to normality. Thank you very much.
שלום לכם. כידוע אנחנו סובלים מהעניין של החטיפה. הבן שלי זה הישם. As you know, we are part of the families of the kidnappees. His son's name is Hisham. הסיפור שלנו מאז 2015, הסיפור שלנו דומה מאוד למשפחה של אברה מנגיסטו. The story of his family is like other family of another Israeli who was kidnapped already in 2015 and ever since there is no news he's been captured by the Hamas. אנחנו היינו אצל הרבה מקומות והרבה קהילות יהודיות. כל הזמן ניסו לעזור לנו בכל מיני מדינות באירופה. We have been visiting several communities and several countries in Europe and beyond, trying to find assistance. אנחנו מבקשים מכולם לעזור בעניין החטופים בכלל, וללחוץ פה על מקבלי ההחלטות באירופה, שהם כן יכולים ללחוץ איפה שצריך ללחוץ. אני יכול לתת שם. We plea here to all those who can assist within Europe and beyond Europe, who has the ability to pressure the Hamas to please do so. We've been doing it for some time now.
כידוע, אני שעבן אל-סייד, אני מייצג רק את עצמי, אני מדבר רק בשם של עצמי ולא מייצג אף אחד.
As you know, his name is Shaaban Sayed. He's the relative of Hisham al-Sayed, 35 years old. We arrived to Gaza in 2010, and then in 2015 he was kept again, and then in 2022 Hamas released a video of him while he's in the hospital. And since October 7th, this family joined the headquarters of the kidnappees that was created in Israel to help returned Hisham as well with the other 137 kidnappees.
אני מאוד מודה לכם שאתם התעניינתם בסיפור שלנו, ואנחנו מקווים שהחג האורות יאיר לחטופים את הדרך הביתה.
I thank you so much for your interest, and I hope that Hanukkah, the light of candle, the holiday of candle and lights, will also lead the way of the return of the kidnappees. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to both testimonies that we've just received from Israel and all of those who joined you, Sheikh al-Ziyadna, for all of your efforts and all of your testimony. Ziyadna. We hope that my Arabic pronunciation needs work, but we'll work on it. We hope that you and all the families of the abducted will be reunited with your loved ones swiftly and only in health. We know that your family has a full schedule of engagements here in Paris, but we thank you for including us in your visit. We will now hear from two first responders in Israel who experienced harrowing sights, dangers, and unparalleled professional challenges on October 7th. Avi Yudkovsky of United Hatzalah will speak in English and is accompanied by his colleague Tzvi Roth, followed by Mendy Chaviv of Zaka, who will speak in French. The work that these professionals and their organizations do every day is difficult, is sacred, and life-saving without regard for the circumstances or the identity of the people in need. But on October 7th, it was beyond extraordinary and heroic. Thank you all for being here. Avi, we will start with you, if you will.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me. Like he said, my name is Avi Yudkovsky. I live in Givat Zev. It's right near Jerusalem. My daily basis, I try to make people happy. I'm a DJ. I go to weddings, to birthday parties. Usually the days a week I don't work. I go on shifts on United Atala together with friends and ambulances. The 7th of October was a day I'm never going to forget, me and my friends. What we went through that day, even if I sit here a few days, I'm not going to be able to explain you. And the morning started around 7 o'clock after we were dancing the whole night with the Sefer Torah. My brother is in the IDF. He woke me up about 7 o'clock in the morning, and he told me that there's a war going on south. His commander just called him and told him to be ready. I volunteer also in the dispatch of United Atala, so I right away woke up, I called the dispatch center, and I asked them if they need any help over there. He told me yes, but go south because they need you over there more. I right away got dressed and left. I called a friend that was with the ambulance that lives near me. He picked me up and we left together south. There's a section called Tzomet Cheletz. It's by the entrance a little bit before Sderot. The dispatch told all the ambulances to stand there and not go further in because they don't know what's going on. When we got there, we just went in because we came to see what's going on and see how we can help. When we got in, the stuff we saw, we can't explain. Doesn't matter what I'm going to tell you. I'm thinking on the way here what story I could say, the stories that they're hundreds, they're thousands, that we went in a few hours. What we did basically that day, we were in an ambulance, we went into Kfar Aza, Be'eri, Re'im, all the places where all the terrorists were. We took out soldiers. I really don't think there's a unit that wasn't in our ambulance that day. We took tons of soldiers and people from the party and families and kids. We took them back to Tzomet Cheletz, and from there, different ambulances or helicopters took them to the hospitals. I was thinking what stories I can say. One of the stuff that I'm never going to forget, one of the times we came to Kfar Aza, we took 3 soldiers that were injured. One of them was from Yamam. He was 40 years old. He got a hit from an RPG by his leg. There was 2 20-year-old soldiers, one from Golani, one from Duvdevan. They were both shot. One was shot in his face, and one was shot 2 bullets, one in his foot and one in his hand. We took the 3 of them, and when we got to Tzomet Cheletz, there was no available ambulances, so we decided we're going to take them to the hospital. And on the way to the hospital, the guy from Yamam was laying down on the stretcher, and there was no room for all of them to lay down. So two of the other ones were sitting, and the guy from Duvdevan was really bleeding a lot, and he was becoming very pale, and we needed to give him IV. And we were trying to find a comfortable way to do it, because we were standing and there wasn't a lot of room. And all of a sudden, the guy without the foot that was just laying on the stretcher just opened his seatbelt, got up, picked up his friend, put him on the stretcher, and sat down and told us, now it's going to be easier for you. Someone without a leg who can do that, that's a small story that we went through that day that shows you what really Am Yisrael is, that someone that's badly injured is going to do anything to help his friend. Another story, we just needed to decide that day who's going to come with us, who's going to stay alive, and who we're going to need to keep in the field and come back together. We took in our ambulance 6, 7, 8 people together who were badly injured, just back and forth. We go in, take, and go right back out. We were getting Shuda. We didn't have time to look right and left. We were just driving between bodies. And that day was one of the times we came with someone that was really badly injured. We brought him to a helicopter, army helicopter that was waiting for us. And when we got there, another ambulance came with another soldier. That soldier was very, very badly injured. And there was one doctor from United Hatzalah who checked whoever we brought and the other guy, and he came to me and he said, put the one from your ambulance in the helicopter, because there was room for only one. And I said, why? The guy in the other ambulance he needs the helicopter more. So he told me a small line that I'm never going to forget. He said, whoever's in your ambulance has a little more chances to survive. So that was that day, that's what we went through. We came to places where there was 10 soldiers injured, and we just needed to pick 3 or 4 and take those and bring them, because there was no room, there was no ambulances there was not enough equipment. We had United Hatzalah brought there. At 11, 12 o'clock in the morning, there was already a truck that came with full equipment. Every time we went in, we just brought boxes of equipment and gave it to the soldiers who were going more inside. I think however much I'm going to speak and tell you and try to explain what we went through it's not even a small part of what we really went over there. We can't explain. But we're the Jews. That's what we do. I know 2 weeks later I was DJing by a wedding, and I was supposed to make people jump and happy. I'm just davening that this Chag should really bring the Or back to Am Yisrael, and we should all dance by Bet HaMikdash soon. And we should all feel good, and it should be the last time we need to have stuff like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mendy, for those remarks. And thank you again to your colleague, Tzvi Lot, for joining you here today. We will now hear in French from Mendy Chaviv. Mr. Chaviv, thank you very much for joining us. S'il vous plaît.
Bonsoir, je m'appelle Mendy Habib, je suis père de 8 enfants, j'habite Kfar Chabad. Je vais vous raconter un petit peu ce qui s'est passé chez nous à Zaka et c'est quoi Zaka. Alors d'abord, Zaka c'est un organisme qu'on est tous des volontaires. On est tous des volontaires et tout ce qu'on fait, c'est pour donner l'honneur aux gens qui sont plus en vie, qui sont déjà décédés et qui sont morts. Et on est là pour les occuper. Et on est tous des volontaires. On n'est pas attachés avec l'État ou quelque chose comme ça. Ça veut dire c'est tout du volontaire. Et ici, ce qui se passe, ce qu'on fait, c'est qu'on ramasse tout ce qu'il y a de la personne après qu'elle est morte. Ça veut dire quand c'est des attentats, quand c'est des accidents. Ce qui se passe ici en France, c'est les pompiers qui font, mais en Israël, c'est pas les pompiers, c'est nous qu'on le fait, et on le fait avec beaucoup de respect. Et c'est quelque chose de spécial parce que c'est aussi écrit dans le judaïsme chez nous. Le judaïsme juif, c'est très important le corps, et c'est très important la vie. Alors, la plupart des volontaires, c'est des chovshim. Chovshim, c'est des gens qui donnent la première aide. Ça veut dire des paramédics, d'accord? Des chovshim paramédics. Et si on n'arrive pas à sauver, alors après, on s'occupe de la mort. Ce qui s'est passé maintenant, le 7 octobre, c'était la grande fête Simchat Torah. C'est une très grande fête qu'on finit la Bible et on la recommence. Et voilà, il commençait à avoir les sirènes, les fusils qui commençaient à sortir vers nous. Moi, j'habite dans le centre, je suis chef commandant de Zaka, centre. Alors tout de suite, je prépare mes collègues et je leur dis, il faut se préparer, il y a quelque chose qui est pas normal, qui se passe quelque chose de pas normal. Moi, je suis sorti là-bas dimanche matin, après que j'ai sorti tout le matériel qu'on avait, mais vraiment tout le matériel. Moi, je suis déjà 25 ans à peu près dans Zaka, et j'ai compris pendant tout ce samedi que tout le matériel qu'on a apporté déjà, que mes collègues ils ont apporté déjà sur place, là-bas sur le terrain, ça n'a pas suffi. Il fallait rapporter encore. Alors vraiment, on a vidé les caves, c'est pas des caves, c'est des endroits, les containers où on avait le matériel, on les a vidés, on a tout pris. Et je suis monté, moi, à mon ambulance, mes équipes, à moi, on est tous montés parce que les équipes qui travaillaient là-bas sur place, que c'est leur région à eux, Zaka, qui sont sur place, ils ont travaillé pendant tout le samedi, tout le Shabbat, et en plus, ils ont commencé jusque l'endroit, ils n'ont pas dormi pendant 24 heures. Ils étaient sur place sans dormir et en plein travail, et c'est pas un travail qui est facile. Moi, quand je suis arrivé, là-bas sur place, c'était un cauchemar parce que c'est pas quelque chose que je vois. Moi, je vois beaucoup de morts. Si c'est comme je vous ai dit, des accidents, des suicides, tout ce qui est mort au dehors des hôpitaux, c'est nous qu'on s'en occupe. Mais là, quand vous voyez, quand j'arrive et je vois une voiture avec une poussette de bébé ou avec des petites poupées, j'ai pris des photos qui sont vraiment horribles. Quand tu vois une petite poupée d'un enfant plein de sang et à côté tu vois des uniformes des assassins, c'est pas quelque chose qui est normal. D'abord, c'est pas normal, mais quand on a commencé à avancer. Et on commence à voir des voitures qui sont dans les champs, qui sont déjà sorties de la route avec des balles, avec des gens qui étaient encore dans les voitures. Et ça, je vous parle le lendemain, dimanche. En plus de ça, on est sous feu d'un coup. Il commence à des terroristes qui étaient encore sur place, qui se sont cachés. Depuis, ils commencent à tirer sur nous. et on se jette par terre, on se cache. L'armée qui est là pour nous protéger, elle commence des combats. Nous, tout de suite, on nous a fait rentrer dans le premier yeshuv qui s'appelle Mefalsim. On se cache, on prend l'abri là-bas. Les soldats, ils se battent et quand ils finissent le combat, ils reviennent avec un des très grands colonels de l'armée qui est mort là-bas dans ce combat. Et ça veut dire on travaille, on fait ce truc-là pour donner de l'honneur aux gens qui sont décédés et on est sous feu, mais on sait que c'est le travail, on sait que c'est une mission que Dieu nous a envoyée. Ça veut dire on le fait pas comme ça parce qu'on sait que nous, le peuple juif, c'est très très important. Le corps aussi de la personne, même quand elle est décédée, il est tellement important et c'est pour ça qu'on le fait, même si c'est sous feu et même s'il y a toute notre vie, c'est pour la vie, ça veut dire c'est pour que la vie elle soit en paix, que les pays soient en paix, que tout le monde soit en paix entre nous. Et de l'autre côté, ce que je vois de l'autre côté, des trucs qui sont horribles, qui sont atroces. Ça veut dire si c'est des femmes qui ont été, je veux pas. Je sais pas comment, je suis très religieux et tout ce que je fais c'est pour donner de l'honneur à ces personnes. Alors je peux pas vous expliquer ce qu'ils ont fait aux femmes, aux jeunes femmes, pas sur la route. J'ai ramassé des femmes qui étaient dans le champ entre Israël et Gaza. Vraiment, ils ont pris 700 mètres. Une femme qui était 700 mètres déjà dans le champ, ou dans des coins où il y avait des arbres et des coins. Quand je vois des poussettes, des enfants, comme je vous ai dit, c'est vraiment horrible. Et ça, tout ça, c'est avant qu'on est rentré dans les kibbutz, dans les villages même. Quand on est rentré dans les villages, c'est des trucs aussi horribles. C'est des choses que c'est pas ce on n'a pas vu là-bas ce qu'on a vu sur la route. Ça veut dire des gens qui étaient fusillés et tout. On a plus vu des familles, mais c'est des familles entières. Ça veut dire c'est des vieilles femmes âgées, des mamies, des enfants, des petits enfants. Et voilà. Et moi, avec mon équipe, ils commencent à me parler, les volontaires de Zaka, et je vois qu'il se passe quelque chose sur leur visage. C'est pas quelque chose de normal. Moi, je suis là, je suis fort, je suis là pour les renforcer. Mais même moi, j'arrive pas à les renforcer. Quand je rentre dans une maison qui est toute noire, qui est toute brûlée, noire, et avec le phare, un phare, je regarde, et d'un coup, je vois un grand truc comme ça qui est entier. Ça veut dire, j'essaye de voir c'est quoi. C'était un père brûlé avec deux enfants qui attrapaient les pieds du père. Chacun de notre côté qui essayaient que le père leur garde. Il n'est pas arrivé à les garder, mais en plus de ça, ils étaient brûlés dans la maison. C'est des trucs atroces. C'est même des gens qui sont... il faut comprendre que même des gens humains, d'accord, mais ça c'est des trucs, même des bêtes sauvages, quand ils viennent manger leur manger, ça veut dire qu'ils sont sauvages, d'accord, c'est des bêtes sauvages, mais ils viennent pour manger et ils s'en vont. D'accord, si le loup il a mangé et il a pas faim maintenant, il va pas continuer. Là, c'est pire que des bêtes sauvages. Ça veut dire c'est pire que des bêtes sauvages. Et c'est pas que ceux-là qui sont venus, c'est pas que les terroristes, parce qu'il y avait aussi des enfants qui sont venus. Mais ça, j'ai entendu. Ça, c'est déjà des choses que j'ai entendues qui sont venus là-bas sur place parce que tout était ouvert. C'est fini. Ils avaient le aller-retour. Alors c'est pas que cela. Il faut savoir. Et ce qui est très important, je pense, c'est qu'il faut que tous les peuples le sachent, que si on les laisse maintenant, si ça va continuer comme ça, si les peuples ils renforcent pas Israël à ce moment-là, ça veut dire au lieu d'essayer de faire des choses qui sont contre ce que Israël pense pour terminer le Hamas, ça va continuer, mais ça va arriver en dehors d'Israël. Et ça va arriver aussi ici en France, ça peut arriver aussi en Amérique, de partout, si on laisse c'est comme quelqu'un qui a une maladie, une maladie. Si on ne coupe pas la maladie, la grave maladie, le cancer, ça commence à sortir dans tout le corps. Tu peux rien faire. Et il faut le couper, et quand tu le trouves le plus vite possible, tu le fais dans la médecine. Alors là, tu peux le faire vivre après, d'accord? Alors c'est très très important. Et Alors voilà, c'est ce que je veux vous dire, je vous renforce et je veux vous dire merci beaucoup à tous ceux-là qui sont venus ici et qui sont là pour nous renforcer et pour écouter ce qui s'est passé. C'est des choses horribles, mais il faut le savoir. Et merci beaucoup.
Merci bien, Monsieur Habib. Thank you very much for your emotional testimony, Mr. Habib, and we again thank both Ikhud Hatzalah and Zaka for the tremendous work that you do now and always. We will now hear from Matan Boltax, a survivor of one of the most horrific scenes on October 7th, the early morning attack on mostly young people on a weekend and another major Jewish religious holiday at the Supernova Desert Music Festival near Kibbutz Re'im in southern Israel. That kibbutz, or collective agricultural community itself, had a population of under 450 people in 2021. Some 364 civilians were methodically massacred at the Nova Festival, with some 40 more taken hostage, several of whom we sadly came to know from our television screens across the world. Matan is originally from the United States, and his experience is of particular relevance to UNESCO colleagues here in Paris, with the organization's mandate as a guardian of world culture, including music. Matan, we're so sorry for what you've gone through, but we're very grateful that you've come here to share your experience with us. The floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Matan Boltax. I'm 23 years old. I grew up in New York, and I moved to Israel when I was 10, and I've lived in Israel since then. On October 6th, it was the last day of Sukkot, a Jewish holiday in October, a very festive day where people go out and dance with their Torahs. I had a great meal with my family. Everyone was dancing. And we had bought tickets to this festival a couple months in advance. I'd say it's just a festival where a bunch of people, 20 to 30, are really going to have fun and dance. I'd say it's a modern day Grateful Dead concert is a good equivalent. We arrived there the gates opened at 12. We arrived at 2. The festival was supposed to go on till 4 p.m. At 6:30 at sunrise, which is basically the whole peak of the whole event, we started seeing rockets flying over our head. Quickly, the music shut down. We knew that the music wasn't going to go back on and that the festival was obviously over. We were very bummed and scared, but sadly, as people live in Israel, we're very used to rockets flying over our head. I also served in the army for 3 years as a sniper and served 8 months on the Gaza border. So we were definitely scared of the rockets, but it's something that we have experienced before and that we were used to. A lot of the people who, once they saw the rockets flying over their head, left all their stuff behind and decided to go straight to their cars and drive home. Me and my friends and I, who had served in Gaza and also live in the southern part of Israel, who were more used to this, decided that we would be at the same amount of risk if we were lying in our next to all our gear, or if we were stuck in standstill traffic, as it would be 3,000 people leaving at the same time in a one-lane highway. So we laid there for about 20 minutes. Usually these rocket fire barrages last about 5 minutes, and then stuff, which is crazy, but stuff go back to normal. This was going on for about 20 to 30 minutes. At that point, we realized that this was something out of the normal. But we still felt kind of safe because you could see the rockets flying north towards Tel Aviv and the central of Israel instead of at us, which was also very weird to us. After about 20 to 30 minutes, this is now 7 a.m., we decided, the police came and told us, all right, you have to get out of here. This is getting serious, as the rocket barrage they kept on firing at us. So we quickly packed up our stuff, which ended up really saving our lives. But we packed up our stuff, we headed to our car. We were still joking around as we couldn't find our car in the parking lot. We still had no idea or really never even thought that a scenario like this could ever happen. Like, I served on the Gaza border, and every person or animal who would touch the fence, we would just spend all night right at that spot making sure nothing happened. So just a scenario of thousands of civilians, terrorists, anyone crossing the border was just unimaginable to us. We got to our car at about 7. As a good Israeli does, we cut through traffic. We reached about 50 yards before the highway, and we just hit standstill traffic as everyone was leaving at the same time. We got out of our cars. We started talking to everyone there as we were stuck. And after waiting there for 5 minutes, the police blocked off the entrance to the highway going north, which was everyone's route to go home, because to the south there's about 5 more miles till Egypt. So there's only a couple of kibbutzim, so that was no one's really route to get home. So we tried to go south and go around and take a different route home, but that was also standstill traffic. And about 5 minutes later, this is about 7:10, we saw several cars and people coming back towards the festival, several injured, several bleeding, and you started hearing gunshots. And you can, as someone who served in the army, you can easily tell the difference between Israeli weapons being fired and between AK-47s, which is what Hamas uses. So at that point, we started to kind of get a lot more worried. But we still, even three terrorists might have entered the country. There's hundreds of soldiers and tanks here on the border. We still weren't as worried as we should have been. About 5 minutes later, we started hearing lots and lots and lots more gunshots. The police decided to tell everyone to run away as far as they can east. People by this time had started just leaving their cars behind and running away by foot. I decided to stay in my car as I just felt like I could get away faster with my friend. No one really cared about their cars anymore. We just wanted to get home. We bumped into 2 cars just to make way, and we started fleeing east with our car. It really felt like just unimaginable. About 500 young people, were like barely dressed. It was still summer, and just shorts and tank tops, just running away for their lives as we're just rumbling across. We knew we had to head east, and at one point we were driving through 4x4 fields and through farmland. At one point the road took us south, and we knew that was not the way we wanted to go. And about 100 meters later, we saw a kilometer in front of us, there was a big gate, and it was locked, and a lot of people started to make U-turns, and behind that gate were several pickup trucks with terrorists. So we quickly made a U-turn. We somehow found, with the help of Google Maps, this 4x4 route that luckily didn't pop our tires to keep on going east. We made it. We drove about another 2 kilometers east and headed up north to the highway. Eventually, we still had to get home. At this point, the rocket fire had really started to hit the southern part of Israel, and it was still nonstop. And we finally realized that there was something much crazier and something we'd never experienced before going on. We had several rockets fall a couple hundred meters from us on the highway. We quickly saw a shelter on the highway. We decided to stop in there. We stayed there for about 2 minutes. We all felt it was just us there, and these 2 people we picked up who were frozen and just couldn't move. We just shoved them into our car. We felt very claustrophobic in there, and it didn't feel right. So we quickly got back into our car, drove across the street. There was a small town called Tkuma. The gate was closed because it was Sabbath, and the whole town keeps the Sabbath. So we had to climb over the fence, which luckily we weren't. No one thought we were terrorists. So we climbed over the fence, knocked on the first door that we saw, and this kind family let us in, and we stayed in their shelter for 12 hours. It was very scary in the shelter because we were the closest house to the highway, and we saw several times pickup trucks and tanks rumbling after them, chasing after them and shooting at them. This is we got there at about 9 a.m. At 7 p.m., we all started to get emergency call-up to reserves. And we just couldn't really stay in that shelter anymore as we felt super claustrophobic and really helpless. So we had some military presence escort us back to the highway, which was still very dangerous at the time. The scenes we saw while driving home were apocalyptic. Just so many accidents on the side of the road, bodies, tanks driving on highways, which they're never allowed to do as they wreck all the concrete in the highways. We made it home at 9 p.m. I remember the first hug I gave was to my mom, and as she didn't really know what was going on because she keeps the Shabbat, she keeps the Sabbath, and that was very emotional for me. I think I just want to share my story as I don't think anyone should ever feel that helpless, even as we live in such a country with such a strong military. Like, it was just something that I've never experienced before. And I think what I want to give and show everyone is that just how relentless the Jewish people are, and just spread as much hope as I can. And that how everyone, Jews, non-Jews, anyone in the world can do their part by just praying, lighting candles, if it's saying Psalms, Tehillim, if it's any donation, positive social media post. I really hope we can be over with these times soon and all of our friends can come home. I have several friends who are kidnapped and several who are murdered. This is a picture of us at the festival. As you can see, everyone is fleeing behind us. And we decided to wait an extra 20 minutes, which eventually saved our lives. My friends and I are all on the right. We all made it home, which I'm insanely grateful, and we're all very lucky. Really, we were guided by Hisham, and we obviously have a bigger part in this world to do. And the 4 people on the left, those 2 girls made it home, and who just happened to join us and sit with us while everyone was fleeing. And the guy holding up his fingers is Hirsch. He is kidnapped now in Gaza and his hand was blown off, so we're also waiting for him to come home. And the guy next to him is Anil. He saved several people's lives in a shelter while throwing grenades out, and eventually he was shot. I just want to say thank you for having me and for listening to my testimony, and I hope we can all see lighter times very soon.
Matan, thank you so much for bearing witness to the unthinkable events that we saw in our time in 2023 in our world on October 7th. And we hope that this type of testimony, as you said, will help both prevent the denial and to spur the international community to ensure that such atrocities never